Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to Comic Book Team Up with me and RJ from the Fourth Age. Not RJ from the Critical Blast. That's RJ2 from Earth 2. We have Earth 1 RJ from the Fourth Age here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, John.
Good. We were talking a little bit before we went live about trials and tribulations of the real world, and we decided that comic book world, for the most part, is better. How's everything?
Not too bad. I just want to throw this out here. Okay, we have no topic, but I'm going to throw this out here. I know we talked about this before, but I find it so relaxing to just sit and bag and board.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny that you said that, RJ. Please pick up my comic book, Heroic Tales #2, and you'll get why I said that. When I'm not spoiling it, especially to you, but there's an homage to bagging and boarding comics in Heroic Tales #2. But you want to hear funny stories? Before my wife, I met my wife when I was 38. So surprise, I had other girlfriends before my wife, and one girlfriend, Lisa, she would get jealous that I would bag and board. She would come over, and I'm 34 years old, bagging and boarding comics. She goes, "You look at that smile on your face," And then I would bag and board the comic, and then I would pick up a stack, and I'd go like this. Hug them. I said, "Well, I'm getting the air out of the bag." She goes, "That doesn't matter. It's a hug," And then, but she said, like, she would just sit there, and I didn't talk to her. I was just bagging and boarding comics. Now I got this comic book room behind me, and one of the things I did is I made sure that it was wide enough that I have a rolling table. I did a few videos from in there. Maybe I'll do more, so I could bag and board comics, and then roll the table over to where that needs to be. When you're 57 years old, you don't want to be lifting comic book boxes as much as, you know what I mean? So you make it as easy as possible. But yes, bagging and boarding comics is fun. Sorting comics. Now, when you sort comics, how do you sort comics?
Well, I have everything alphabetical, but only by company. So all Marvel are alphabetical Marvel, DC are alphabetical DC, and then you got Dark Horse and whatever else, Valiant, and all the rest are in the back end.
Okay, see, because I was just like right over here. You can see this stack of comics. So I leave them in the pile that I read them in, and then after I make a video about them, I go over to the table over there or the rolling table in the back room, and what I do is I just put all the A's, B, and then I put them in alphabetical order, and then I put them in a box. So I put them in my collection. So it's like a long process, and I got to do it with each long box. Like if I fill up a long box, that's going to take me like a week or two of constant filing because I got so many long boxes. But what I do that's different than you is I alphabetize by character. So like Florida Man would be obviously F. Batman is B, but Batman Shadow of the Bat is Batman S. Superman Action is Superman A. Superman Man of Steel is Superman M. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So all and I don't bother with comic book companies because I can't remember all. Like, so it's just Fantastic Four will be right next to I don't know. I'm trying to think of a Fourth World. You know what I mean? Like they're just in alphabetical order because I don't want to bother with remembering which company. If I want to find something obscure, like I don't know, I'm trying to think of an obscure comic book right now. Psychodrama. What company is that? It's just under P. So I know I could do all Marvel and all DC, but they're all comics. So I
used to have, when I was in every Wednesday getting new comics, I used to have a system on top of my dresser, and my dresser top was about 4 feet long. So I had 3 piles. There's the pile of red that had to be put away. There's the pile that came in that week, and there was a pile that came in weeks before that I hadn't got to yet. So, we've got 1 pile for bagging and boarding that I need to put into everything else, plus the 2 piles that I'm working on for reading, which is a good pile and a bad pile. There's always a pile in the middle, which came in last week, but I didn't get to read it yet, which usually indicated it's not that great a read.
Okay, so when you read the comics, how do you prioritize what to read?
When I prioritize what to read,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. There was just, if I could remember the storyline, okay, there was several different factors. So if I can remember the storyline from last month, then obviously it's going on top, right?
Okay.
And if it's a new book that I never picked up before, it goes in the bottom because I need, to get through my normal story first. So I'm going to read the X-Men, Avengers, whatever else I got on top Iron Man that I normally buy every month. But then again, there's stuff in the middle where, for instance, I didn't buy Spectacular Spider-Man for a while and things like that. So if I picked it up and it was a good book, but I didn't pick it up every single month, then it sort of went into the middle of the pile.
Okay, we're pretty similar. If it's a comic that I read monthly, it goes on the top of the pile. Anything that's new, I can't read it. I can't read anything new until everything continuing is caught up, if that makes sense. And then I decided anything crowdfunded, because now that I know these people, they get priority because like, hey, John, have you read Thomas Valiant? No. Well, you've had it for a year and a half. He just doesn't like it. You know what I mean? So if I know you get priority. Like Marcus Miller just sent me a back box of comics. So I put a Lone Star on top, and I read that. Now, I'm glad I did. It was a good comic. But you know what I mean? Like when you're buying your friend's comics and you're like, I didn't get around to reading it. That's really a backward way to say I didn't like it. And I don't want to say anything bad. So my friends crowdfunded first, monthlies next, and then like if it's something like I'll buy a bunch of back issues. So I'm trying to think of back issues that I just bought, like Atari Force. I bought the whole run of Atari Force, and I only read it when everything that is is read already, because I don't want to get new characters logged into my Swiss cheese brain. You know what I mean? But I got time to read comic books, so I'm not going to not read a stack of comics. So that's how I prioritize reading comics, like a crazy person. Oh, I had something else I wanted to say. Oh, I want to show us commiserating with RJ. So here, I'm not going to show the other side of the box because it has my address, but I've decided for each campaign, I'm going to release 7 trading cards. Now, 7 will be the minimum. Why 7? Because if I sell a set of 7 trading cards for $10, it's economical and I make a couple of dollars profit. Okay. If I sell 12, 13 for $10, I'm not making any money. And I got to, you know how it is, guys. You got to make a couple of bucks to fund the next issue. So 7. But if I do $30,000 in the comics, I'll make 15 trading cards because, the extra money is funding that. So I got the cards. So this is the first card that they made. This is the Subterranean. The front art is beautiful. Renzo's artwork. And this, I think this one is David De La Silva's coloring. And then the back. This is the character sheet for V&V. Now you can't see it, but every word is spelled wrong. Every freaking word is spelled wrong. Look, can you see if I make it bigger? The subterranean. Strength instead of strength. Endurance instead of endurance. The healing instead of the healing rate. Apparently there's a formatting error when you use PDFs. Now, I used this company before, and everything was perfect. This time, she goes, "Oh, why didn't you look at the proofs?" I said, "You didn't send me the proofs. You just went ahead. You said everything was fine." So they didn't send me the proofs. They printed all 7 cards. I got a huge box of 7 times 250 cards that are useless to me. In their defense, the woman fixed the error. Well, she said to me, "Oh, that happens all the time with PDFs." I'm like, "You didn't tell me that. You're the professional, not me." So she fixed them. She's going to ship me out new replacement cards. So, and it only takes like 4 or 5 days. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that. But my dilemma is I can't throw these away. So what should I do with the bad cards? And the thing is, I know most people don't care about the backs because most people don't play Villains and Vigilantes. Matter of fact, the casual fans who aren't really, they just liked it because of whatever, they don't really know me. They were kind of upset with my cards because they're like, what's with the back? I'm like, it's a character sheet. It's a character sheet for Villains and Vigilantes. If you buy the game Villains and Vigilantes, that's what the character sheets look like. So I'm not changing that. I'm not changing that. So I need to communicate better of what the backs of the cards are. And the funny thing is, the lady on the phone, she's like, you got to go over these proofs because nothing makes sense to me anyway. And fair enough. So there you go. So I'm going to throw in full sets. So you're going to get the stretch goal cards that were promised with the correct information, the correct spelling. Then I think I'm just going to throw in a full set of these cards, but will that be shoot myself in the foot because then nobody's going to want to buy the full set? But maybe, I don't know. So what should I do? Should I just give them away as rewards? Just, whatever. I don't know. I am having.
That would be give them away next campaign.
Give them away next campaign.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Brian Christower in the chat. Brian Christower is the author of Six Gun Gorilla. RJ, Six Gun Gorilla is so good. It really is so good. Really.
Question about the cards though, John.
Sure.
Because I had cards for Thomas Valiant #1. We had 6, and when they did the cards up, my printer actually put every last card in sets of 6 for me. So they were already set. Are yours separated like that?
No, mine is separated in boxes.
So you got just boxes of one card, and you're going to have to put all 7 together.
Yeah. But I only hit 3 stretch goals, so everybody gets 3 cards for free. And nobody bought the full set of this card. A couple of people bought the full set of less. So I'm just gonna, once I know my comics are shipping, I'm just gonna take 333, 333, 333. It just makes stacks of what I mean, so that I could just slip them in with the comics. It's not that bad. It's actually kind of relaxing. It's like sorting comics. Last time I cleared off this whole desk. I have my Rollo printer for printing at shipping. And I put stacks of comics right here. And it's going to be easier because I'm only going to have like 3 variants. I got the regular comic, the Renzo comic, the variant comic, and then the cosplay cover. So I only have 3. And then I'll just sort them out. I actually enjoyed fulfilling. Do you fulfill yourself, or did you have a service?
I did. It was enjoyable to a point, but when it started to get, I need to get these out right away, it started to get a little bit crazy. But speaking of crazy, okay, we'll speak about crazy and cards. Here's how crazy I am, John. Are you this crazy? When I was putting the cards, because I was just putting the cards into the sleeve, into the comic bag after I got the Thomas Valiant #1 into it. And I kept thinking to myself, I really hope these don't indent onto my cover. It wouldn't. I mean, it's a graphic novel with a hardcover.
What I do is I put the cards behind the board on this side.
Right. Well, I didn't need a board because I was shipping 1 to 2 80-page graphic novels, so they were hard enough.
I'm sending 40-page floppy comics. So now R2 card. Now, Brian, you earned it. Six Gun Gorilla, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, we got 50 people watching. Six Gun Gorilla. The funny thing about Six Gun Gorilla is I backed it, and then I saw Brian, and he gave me a trade paperback, and I'm the jerk. I go, but I ordered the comics. I didn't realize he was just giving me a free trade paperback, and I looked a gift horse in the mouth because I'm that kind of jerk. And I said, I'm gonna check out the first couple of pages tonight, and I stayed up and I read 6 issues in one sitting, which I never do. I'm a very slow reader. I stayed up and finished. It was so good. So good, I want to read more.
We need to find a time machine to take Brian back to 1965. He'll be a millionaire with Six Gun Gorilla.
I know. Well, it's really good. It's really good. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to sound, but if I recognize your name, I'll throw you in. Maybe I'll just give it to everybody. I don't know, but I should just give everybody. And I'm gonna announce that when I start shipping. I'll put that in updates and everything like that. Here's another update. The colorist just was incommunicado for like a month. And I'm like, dude, I'm shipping in September. I need those pages. He assured me that the comic book will be done on Sunday. So, what do you do? Do you ever have anybody who just doesn't respond?
Yes, but I trust the people that I work with, and if you do that to me once and you don't get back to me and we miss the deadline, then you're just not getting any more work.
Yeah, I hate to be a jerk, but that's what I said. I go, because I was just talking with this with Dave Brink. If I'm working with you, I send you a message on Fridays. I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? So just Fridays. Hey, this is Friday checkup. How's everything? And I told him, you got 24 hours to respond. You know, because if I miss, because I'm supposed to be shipping at the end of September. I right now I should be finishing up the lettering, and instead I'm still waiting on colors because I do the lettering when I get all the colors. I said, so I might be late unless you could get it to me by Sunday. Then I can make up for lost time. And he promised them. But I said, so you don't respond, and now we're going to be late. I said, so you from now on, if you want to work with me, Fridays, you got 24 hours. You know, because I know you see it. I know you see it because you can see the little message thing.
Talk to your letterer because he might be able to do the lettering as a extra layer, and then I mean some letterers do it before they're even colored, and so the colorist
what I do is I get all the, and then I kind of like rewrite the script. So I'm gonna have to rewrite. I have a system like.
Yeah, I know.
So I want to do that, but I don't know. Do you want to see some spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is. I showed this on the last stream, but it's all loaded up and ready to go. It's H.P. Lovecraft's birthday today, so I figured I'd show this. I'm gonna make it big.
Oh, you posted this on Twitter just earlier.
Yeah, this is the splash page to the new secret project that I'm working with another creator that's going to be in comic book stores. So you're not going to recognize the character, and you recognize my character. So I'm not giving away any secrets. But this is the splash page, and the reason why this is so much fun to me is I make no secrets that my comic book is based on my role playing game. So this is me and all my friends' characters together, with the other creator's character in it, and it's going to be in a comic book store. Me and my friends are like so freaking happy. My friend Paul today was just like, you mean it's going to be in comic book stores? I was like, yeah, you got to go send your friends and your coworkers into a comic book store to buy this. So a quick rundown. On the left, the guy with the cape, that's the Patriarch. Underneath him, that's my friend Paul's superhero character, Magnum. Underneath him is my friend Mike's character, Colonel Strong. And then you can see the Public Eye. That's literally my character. I played as the Public Eye when my friend Jimmy ran the game. And that's next to him is my friend Jimmy's character, the Metaphysician. He never had a superhero name. He was just Richard Dante. So I was like, no, he's got to have a superhero name. So I made a costume and a superhero name. Jimmy's like, that's cool. And then above him is King Fu because everybody loves King Fu. And then Mary Sue. The only problem is Mary Sue can't fly. So this, guys, here's a little bit of how the sausages are made. This is Renzo sending me a layout. Look how detailed his layouts are. Does he send stuff like this to you too, RJ?
Yeah. Question though, your main character here looks like Mercury, but it also looks like it's a female. Is it female or male?
It's a female character, and she's in a Viking outfit. That's not what she looks like in her regular comic. That's why I'm showing this, because it's not, you'll never figure it out. Because I still don't know.
I'm just looking at this going, if that's Renzo, yeah, he's going to spend some time on the posterior of this character.
Right. So this is the splash page. I just wanted to, you open up the book, you see all my characters, you see all my friends' characters, you see the other creator's character, and then this crazy monster. And then you're like, what's going on? And then I don't want to give this, I was just about to give the whole plot away, but I'm not going to do that. But I'm smiling from ear to ear. So, Renzo sends me this layout. And I said, that's great. That's beautiful. And then I said, let me think about it for a couple of hours, because you don't want to make a snap decision. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, yeah, Mary Sue can't fly. So he's going to swap Mary Sue and the Metaphysician. And then there we go. And then we go to town. So that's kind of how he's got layouts for all 12 of these pages. And then I go through them. I check the script, things that change. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's a better visual representation. So it's, I just love that. The whole process, provided we communicate and provided you're on time, is so much fun. It's so much fun. We got Phil who says, hello. I have my books in my local comic shops. That is so cool. That is so cool, Andrew. That's on the posterior. Other RJ is all, yeah. Earth One RJ is all class. He sure is. Sure is. Yeah, the posterior. So, anything you want to spoil? Anything you want to say? What do you want to talk about? Oh, I got a lot of good news. You mind if I give good news?
No, go right ahead.
So, for a while, Tonic Mole and Oscar and I have been working on a comic called Eddie is Doomed. And we did a couple of pages, and then we hit a dead stop. There was a good momentum for a while because Tonic Mole, all three of us created this comic. This is a total collaboration between. So we can't work without the other. It's not right. But Tonic Mole was a little behind in his own comics. He's all caught up. He says issue 12, he's going to take a break and he's going to work solely on Eddie is Doomed. So we are back chugging along. Oh my God, I'm so happy for that. So happy for that. So Eddie is Doomed is going to be chugging along. And I've been plotting a comic called, that I've been hinting at for a while. I don't know if you've seen this, RJ, but I've been hinting at this comic for a good while. I've been saying it's a historical comic with mythology. Well, I'm ready to announce it. Did you see this, RJ?
Yeah, you showed it to me last week, but it wasn't colored.
Without the color or with the color?
Without the color.
Yeah, so this is the color and the letter. So the lettering, it says, he knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. So this is going to be the secret origin of Santa Claus. So, and then somebody says, didn't Grant Morrison do this with Claus? No, he didn't. What this is it's going to be an annotated historical biography of St. Nicholas as told by Odin as he's desperately trying to escape the fate of Ragnarok. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And the plotting is done. RJ, I don't know how you write, but I torture myself with the plotting. Once I get the plotting, then I start doing the actual script, and the actual script is like lightning. But what is your process?
Mine's quite the opposite. I write out the basic plot for each page. It just comes and it's just done like right away. And when I get to the actual pages, then I got to break it down and make sure, depending on who I'm working with, how much detail I put into it. Like I said, the guy I'm doing with the manga with, he wants it very light. So I just give him, a couple of lines for every page, let alone panel. And for Renzo, I do, full panel layout, full script, and have my dialogue already written.
Yeah, I write the dialogue, but then I rewrite the dialogue when I see the artwork, and sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes somebody has a different facial expression. Like
besides the fact you got to put it in, you don't want to be covering over the art.
Correct. I had to, and it forces you to become succinct and better because.
Definitely.
The art is so good. I don't want to cover it with a word that the art is already explaining. So
this is what I'm always saying, John. The limitations of comics is what makes comics great, if you ask me.
Right. You have to. RJ, you are RJ. This is RJ3, by the way. So we have RJ1, which is you from the Fourth Age. RJ2 is Critical Blast RJ. And this is RJ3 from Call Sign Orion. Is the Printer's Devil still in the works? Yes, it is. And it's making progress. It's making really good progress. The Printer's Devil is being drawn by Stippling Vaughn. If you subscribe to his channel, every Sunday he goes to a bar, drinks himself into oblivion, ends up with no pants on. It's a lot of fun, and draws my comic. No, he keeps his pants on. But you can actually see him drawing my comic in the pages. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot. I summoned Wall of Text. Yeah, I had to. Bill lettered a page and he was like, John, I don't want to tell you how to write your comic, but is this what you want? And then he showed me the page and it was Renzo's art and it was just a word balloon. Like all you saw were feet and hands because it was just, I was like, you're absolutely right. It seems delay is a part of the comic. I'm not going to say I'm late yet. I got until Sunday. Miracles do happen. Miracles do happen to get all the color work. But then I got to scramble, which I do not like to do. I do not like to scramble. So this is in the works. RJ, the comic that I'm doing for another creator has a due date, so I pushed that production up. Luckily, it's only 12 pages. Renzo just did all the layouts; they got all approved, so he will be done with that pretty quick. And then we're gonna do Patriarch #1, and then after Patriarch #1, we're probably gonna do this. We'll probably do the Santa Claus, and I'm hoping that we can do Santa Claus and Eddie is Doomed, like and real close to each other, and then go to Heroic Tales. Heroic Tales 3 might happen faster than I thought because I got a whole bunch. I got Stippling Vaughn doing the Printer's Devil. I got Luke Stone doing the Sleeper Agent. I got a guy whose only name I know him by is Arkham. He's drawing, and I don't want to announce the name of that, but that's another. That's a mythological based superhero, and I told him this is supposed to be a Frazetta story, so make it like a Frazetta story. Sexy chicks, monsters, and guts. And then I know I got more. Or Ron Mosicki's doing a Raven story. Oh my God, that is just a dark pulp murder story. Oh my God, it is so dark, and it's the best thing I ever wrote. And then I got DC Miller's working on Bikini Girl, and I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, and Fabrizio Aiello is working on the Diaries of Violet McCready. And it's so good. And I know there's one more. But anyway, I got a lot of stuff. So whatever comes in first gets to be the next Heroic Tales.
I love the fact that you said this is the person that I only know him by this name. That's one of the things about working the way that we do, John. Is like half the people that work with me. I won't say for me, work with me. Like, I mean, they're all over the world. Some of them, I have no idea whether they're male or female, right? There's like, you're looking at the comic industry and they're saying, oh, it needs to be diverse. And I'm thinking, I got people all over the world. I have no clue who they are. I got no clue if they're male, female, whatever. I got one guy, I think it's a guy who does work for me, who goes by a name like that, is Juarez, right? It's the only thing I got. And he does the spectacular Cardinal picture, and he's done another one for me for Artemis. It's like, I have no clue who this person is or where they are, or anything else. And it's bizarre, but it's like, you want diversity? Come do this. You get diversity.
Yeah. I've talked on video camera with everybody I've ever worked with. So I know them, but most of them I met through their work, So I don't know. I kind of like that. Oh, is this a new comic? This is a new comic. This is it's going right now. The working title is the biography of, or the origin of Santa Claus. Unless I come up with a better title, that is the working title right now. And I already decided I want to go through RJ from Earth 2 Critical Blast and have him publish it, and maybe even get it like hardcover if there's a demand for it, because it's going to be that good. It's going to be that good. Like, I want to have it annotated. Like, when you go to the back of the book, it's going to tell you the historical references, what was going on in the world. Like, I want it to be that kind of book. So, like Drug Dealers, my guy is Heisenberg. Eddie is still doomed. I maybe you missed it at the beginning, but Tonic Ball was a little behind the 8 ball with his comic. I never announced a schedule yet or anything. I didn't start collecting money. I just announced that we were working on it. And he is all caught up, and he has 12 issues of his comic, Saving the World, which is an awesome comic. Go check it out. Saving the World is Love and Rockets meets superheroes. It's or better yet, Daniel Close meets superheroes, and it's so good. It's so charming. And he says this is a good point to take a break and work on Eddie. So he's gonna be doing pages, and then Oscar is gonna be doing the superhero story. Oh, that's another thing. I'm writing a story for Oscar of Captain Arachnid, another comic book within the world of Eddie is Doomed. And I know there's more stuff. I know I have more stuff, and it's going to drive me nuts. But anything you want to announce? Anything? What do you got working on? I know I
am working desperately trying to get Crom out, and I've if anybody here is a backer of Crom, check your email. I did put out a update. Basically, I'm going to be offering some free stuff for the people for the backers because they've been waiting so long. So we're going to put out most probably a text story with some art online for everybody to read if they want to do that, and possibly sending out some. I've been talking to RJ, or the guy at RJ's, to talk about putting out some, maybe some regular, what do you call them, postcards with some new art on them, so that everybody can have an actual update and some good art. Just be like a collectible, a little something for people because they're having to wait so long. But we're doing that. Fade to Blue. We're on chapter 2 of the last book right now. We're finishing that up, and at the same time, what else am I working on? Artemis. I just got all the pages back from 1 to 30.
30
and
pages for Artemis?
Well, 30 pages. That's the first chapter.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're going 90 pages. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
because it's manga sized, and we're doing it in manga printing as well. We're doing it in manga printing and normal, I think, graphic novel printing, because I have it so that my artist who's in Japan, I said to him, make it so that we can flip this, because make every piece of art so we can flip the entire page, and we can do it both ways. We can do it in manga style, and we can do it as American style. So he's done the first 30 pages, and I have them. I'm still working on the last of the script for the second chapter, but he has the first pages for that. But he's one of those guys where you give him the script and he'll just contact you a couple of months later. But that's no problem, because we haven't even had a campaign out for that yet. But yeah, there's that, and yeah, trying to get Crom out as quickly as possible.
Okay, yeah. I think you've been announcing it and letting people know. Like, I guess we shouldn't talk about this live, but is anybody getting mad? Anybody busting your chops?
Yeah, people I got people on the campaign page saying he's another Ethan Van Sciver kind of thing.
Oh, no. That's terrible. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, it's the art, and we got to wait for the artist to finish the art. Everything else is going through, but until we have the art ready, you can't move.
Right. It's a comic book. Yeah, you can't do anything with it. I was 3 weeks late with my first campaign, which I consider a success. This one, I just pray that I get the colors in by Sunday, like he promised, and that I could still be on time, provided the printer might be inundated with. That's the only thing. That's the only variable that I can't control. Is you go to the printer and they're like, okay, great, you're at the bottom of the list. Oh, okay, when's the bottom? 3 days? No, you're at the bottom of the list 3 weeks. You know what I mean? You're at the bottom of the list a month. That I can't control. But I want to stay with Comics Wellspring. Their customer service was impeccable. They were great. Not one damaged comic. Who did you print with?
I was printing with the local company here so that I could get everything like hands on, because I was actually walking into the store and they're showing me prints and taking me down to the printer and all that kind of stuff. So,
oh wow, that is cool. Up there in Canada. So and then you fulfilled it yourself?
Yep.
Are you doing that again?
I don't know. Well, I did it with Thomas Valiant #1. I did it with the 3 floppies and the Valiant Heroes #1. But I don't know if Crom is going to go through. Like, I might go through RJ for the entire Crom. I'm not entirely sure. We're talking about it right now. See how much the costs are and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. I did a total of 300 backers for my first campaign. And the funny thing is, like, exactly 300. It's really weird. And then I got a couple later. But as of right now, I have exactly 200 backers. So I'm going to fulfill it myself. I would like to get 101 more backers. Just, that way I could say, hey, look, I'm growing with every campaign. I got 5 days left on Kickstarter for Heroic Tales. So if you're thinking about backing, and you want Kickstarter, you got 5 days left. If you're thinking about backing and you fund my comic, it's the way I'm going to do things is Fund My Comic is going to be available continuously until the next campaign. So Fund My Comic will be in demand until Heroic Tales 3, and then I'll shut down 2. You know what I mean? That'll kind of make you have to go to the current page. Like if I have Patriarch #1, I'll still have Heroic Tales in demand. Yeah. And then I wonder how many I'm allowed to keep in demand, because I think if on my comic you're only allowed to have 2 active campaigns, but by the time Patriarch comes out, Heroic Tales will be closed. So I wonder if I could keep them open to stores. That I'll talk to Luke. Oh, I got a question by Omnipro. Will the slave character in Printer's Devil be integral like a sidekick, or just coincidental of the time? The Printer's Devil is set in Revolutionary War America. It's set during the Articles of Confederation. So slavery is part of America at the time. And I think shying away, if you're going to set something in the period, shying away from that period diminishes using that period. So the Printer's Devil is a kid. He's 15 years old, and his father owned Boaz, a slave. And Boaz lost his arm in a bad lumberjack incident, and nobody wanted him. So the Printer's Devil's father was a Revolutionary War surgeon. He closed the wound and saved his life. And then the slave master is like, "You want him? What?" And he's just like, he was disgusted by it. He's just like, so he took in Boaz and basically taught Boaz how to be an assistant. So he knows. So he's a big, strong ex-lumberjack, but he only has one arm, and he's a good medical guy. You get where I'm going? He's Alfred. So the Printer's Devil is Robin, and Boaz is Batman. So yes, they Printer's Devil is a 15-year-old horny kid, and Boaz is the smarter, stronger guy. But unfortunately, it's the time period. So yes, it's going to be controversial. Yes, it's going to be respectful. And yes, if you're going to get mad, because controversy does sell comics. And it's not advocating slavery. It's just saying, if you're going to set a comic in that time period, avoiding it and not talking about it, I think it is a bad idea.
It's funny. I was just, excuse me, just talking to a couple of people there a couple of days ago. But for some of the legal stuff that I have to do, I have to go through wills, right? And we're going through wills. If you go back to 1800s and earlier than that, you see things listed as, how much things they own. And they're all listed, everything they own. And you'll see mulatto child and all this kind of stuff under some of their possessions, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. It's not supposed to be like. You'll see. You'll see. Is it a good? You tell, because I already have the sequel lined up, and the conceit of the Printer's Devil is every story has to be something about writing, because he's a printer. Why why else would he get involved? So it has to be with documents, writing. So that's kind of hard to do. And I already got the next story, the idea. I didn't write it yet. I didn't plot it yet, but I got the idea. And then I got the third story just came to me. And please let me know that if you like them, because I think these are really good ideas. Which begs, where do you get your ideas from, RJ?
Honestly, a lot of them come from my dreams. Which is what I was talking about in my last weekend's video. I don't know if you listened to it, about people not being able to picture things in there. People can't picture. Some people can't picture actual pictures in their mind. But for me, I have vivid dreams, and everything. Like, I have hyper fantasia. Everything gets translated into an image in my head, right? So yeah, I have some really freaky dreams and things like that. It's mostly when I'm still. If I have this thing. I don't know. There's if anybody knows Father Mike, he's a guy. He's a Catholic priest. He does online stuff, but he talks a lot about at times gap time. About nobody has gap time anymore. Everybody has a phone in front of them.
Yeah.
But I can remember sitting on the bus, just staring out the window. That's gap time, right? Where your brain's just working, right? So usually, if I'm in my car, besides when I'm dreaming, usually when I'm in my car and stuff like that, I just turn off the radio and I have silence, and things just come to me in silence.
Yeah, I talked about the Printer's Devil idea came to me because there's literally a restaurant not far from me called the Printer's Devil. Now I went on a date with this girl in 1992 to the Printer's Devil, and right there I was like, this is a weird name for a restaurant. So I asked the waiter, and he goes, "Oh, Printer's Devil is the name of an apprentice for a printer during like revolutionary colonial America, because they always had ink on it." So I was like, okay. So then I looked it up and I found out it's true. So I was like, that's a cool name for a superhero, the Printer's Devil. And so it's always been, but I never had a story for him. And then one night I went to bed as I normally do, and then I woke up with two fully formed stories in my head. And I wrote the Printer's Devil, and then I wrote this other character that Arkham is drawing. And they're two completely different, but literally, because I woke up in the middle of the night. When you hit your 50s, you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And then I went back to bed, and I had a completely different, and these were two fully minor tweaks to make them into stories. And I just wrote them out. I had no idea who's going to draw them, no idea what they were going to do, but I threw them in the story. And then the other story that I'm not mentioning it is integral to the main story. I found out that I need to work this in to make the main story make sense. The other day, I saw a tweet by Sandy Peterson. If anybody doesn't follow Sandy Peterson on Twitter, I urge you to follow him. He's a board game designer and a Lovecraft Cthulhu maniac. He designed the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, and he also designed the game Doom. We have all played Doom. Very interesting guy. And he just throws random facts and talks about them. I don't know how many story ideas I got from him. So I every day I'm like, that's a good story idea. To risk spoiling one of my stories, somebody said, has there ever been a resource? Everybody's an alarmist. Has there ever been a resource that we ran out of? We have, even oil's not running out. And then Sandy Peterson said, silphium. We ran out of silphium. And I never heard of silphium. So, of course, I have to look up what silphium is. It was a plant that grew in the Mediterranean, and the Romans treasured it as a spice and a contraceptive. And they harvested it so much, but it took so long to grow that they harvested it to extinction. At one point, silphium was worth more than gold. And I'm like, what if they find silphium somewhere else in the world? And, and like adventurers are fighting over it. So I'm trying to find out which characters, I don't know. And it looks like a yellow heart. It literally is the heart-shaped herb. And they say that that's why the heart shape is used in modern because it was a contraceptive and it literally looked like a heart. And that because the heart doesn't look like that shape. That shape came from something. It came from an extinct plant. I love this guy, Sandy Peters. He's been on my channel. He's awesome. So do you get ideas from reading or anything?
I get a whole, yeah. Oh, excuse me. A lot of ideas from just random things, like for my videos, right? Just from YouTube. I watch some really weird videos about history and things like that. But yeah, I get a lot of ideas from those.
Where do you come up with your superhero names? You know that's one of my big things that I talk about. That, like I already told you where I got the name of the Printer's Devil. Like Thomas Valiant. How did you come up with that? Or
well, I always, honestly, Thomas Valiant is kind of unique. Is because of the fact that I really love Magnum PI. So you got Thomas Magnum there, but I wanted the character to be basically written as if this isn't the actual backstory, but written as if he was a descendant of Prince Valiant.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. It's funny. You were like the 18th person in the past 6 months to recommend Magnum PI. I've never watched it. But it's the stars are telling me to watch it. I think I'm gonna watch that, Columbo, and the Rockford Files.
I have
the slew of Detective Comics.
the full DVD set for Magnum. I have the partial DVD set for Rockford Files, and I want to also buy, if I can find them, I'm sure I can somewhere, is Simon and Simon.
I never watched that either. I've always took TV. I've always watched TV secondary to reading comics. If I had free time, I read comics. If friends were over, or if there was, through most of my life, I didn't have access to cable. If there was something I wanted to watch, I had to watch it then. But nowadays I can watch TV whenever I want, whatever show, whatever I want. So I ironically never watch TV because there's always time to watch it later.
Let me ask you this question then, John. I don't know if I'm unique in this. If anybody in the comments is like this as well, but if I do something for too long, I get sort of a burning sensation in the very back of my skull, like in my brain, right? I can feel something is just not. It's not that it's not right. It's just like an exhaustion in the back of my brain. So I used to get that when I would sit there and just read comics over and over, like hour after hour after hour. It's like, I got to stop. I want to read more, but I got to stop. My brain's telling me I got to go do something else. And so I go watch television.
Oh, okay. I'll read comics until I physically get tired. My eyes will get tired and I can't, and then I'll watch TV if my wife wants to. Let's watch this movie together or something like that. But to tell you the truth, I'm trying to think the last I got a big TV right over there on the other. You can't see it because I'm facing it. I don't even know the last time I turned it on. Like my wife and I, she's really into that show, The Chosen. So, we watch The Chosen and have dinner. But now that we've seen them all, we're all caught up. Like I don't watch TV anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't have a TV like now for new stuff. I just have my computer and I have a DVD player in my computer. I special ordered from Dell so that I can still have a DVD player in it. But yeah, I haven't had a television set for over 20 years now.
Yeah, I'm trying. The only show that I'm watching is Gravity Falls. A foreman at work loved it. He's like, John, you'd love it. And I started watching that cartoon, and I do love it. So I'll watch Gravity Falls, and then it's funny because I'll like, what do I want to watch? What do I want? I'll watch Venture Brothers again. I'm the process. Could you please get it back on the show? I love Call of Cthulhu game. Would love to hear how he research it. Yeah, I'll invite him back. He was a lot of fun. I didn't have to say a word. Believe it or not, as much as I talk, I just said, hello, Sandy Peterson. I love that guy. I plan one day to watch Miami Vice from start to finish. Oh, you old TV series. I want to watch Rockford Files. I got to watch Magnum PI and Columbo. I've never watched. I watched a few episodes of Rockford Files.
Columbo is very different because you start off with, you're not even concentrating on Columbo at all, and it's a whole. It's not a whodunit. It's how does he figure this out?
Right. You already know who did it in Columbo.
Yeah.
Because what's his name? Peter Falk always bothered me as a kid, but now I kind of like him.
Plus, I always like Peter Falk in his movies, not in his television shows.
My brain.
But yeah, those were technically movies. They were just television movies. But anyway,
my brain has to be engaged to hold. Mysteries. Yeah, mysteries. Is that what you're trying to say? Logic, mysteries. My computer sellers don't want us to have physical media. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Tell me you see Chips. No, I've never watched Chips. I've never been interested in Chips. I don't know why. Because it's set in California. Well, Rockford Files is set in California. I watched House for a while, and then it started to realize it was just a formula.
Yeah, watching House is a bit depressing sometimes.
Intricate and complex stories hold my interest all day long. Simple stuff for the masses bores me to death. I can't turn off my brain. I agree. I wish I was smart enough to write a good detective story. It's funny because Raven, my Batman Punisher type character, he's kind of a dummy. So like one thing I can't stand is when a dumb person writes a smart character. And then you're like, this guy ain't doing anything smart. This is just what a dumb person thinks is smart. So the way I get around that is the Raven's a brute. And he has a handler, Augie Carmichael. And RJ knows his story. And don't spoil it yet. But he is the one that solves all the crimes. But he's a big fat slob. And he is the gun. And he aims, and then the Raven is the bullet. But nobody else knows about Augie Carmichael, so that he's getting the credit. But Augie doesn't care about the credit. He just wants the crimes to be solved. But the way Augie solves the crimes, I made up because I'm not smart enough to come up with a good detective story. You'll see in.
And then I disagree with John on that point because this is the best character he's ever written.
Thank you. I really do like Augie Carmichael. He's so good. So far, he's going to debut. Well, he's probably going to debut in the Sleeper Agent. That because Luke Stone is drawing that, and he's more ahead than everybody else. But he's supposed to debut. But he's going to debut. He's going to be in the Raven. He's going to be in my time travel story, and he's always going to be with the Raven because he's going to be like the Jim Gordon of the Raven. So, yeah, so this is my self-insert character. Yeah, I'll show you what he looks like because it's funny because people have been accusing the Patriarch is just a self-insert. I'm like, I wish I
Odin is John's self-insert.
Yeah,
for
there
his
you go.
upcoming book.
Yeah, there you go. Odin is I'm trying to find okay. Where's the color one?
Just let everybody know, since they've never seen me before, Thomas Valiant is a self-insert for me.
There you go. Looks just like yeah. You know, I almost gave a big spoiler about the Patriarch, but I got to stop myself. Like as they say that you put yourself into every character. I did put a lot of my family into the Patriarch. I mean, I have 7 kids. I mean, my parents had 7 kids, and you know, I don't have any kids. But there's also something else about the Patriarch's family that it's a big part of his story, and I didn't realize it was the same thing with my parents. White. Oh, I'm looking right at it. Okay, so this is. I joke around and say this is my self-insert character, just to shut up people. There we go. Did you see what Augie Carp? That's Augie Carmichael. That's the detective. He's a federal agent. So there you go. Right? Have you seen this, RJ?
Again, I've only seen it in the black and white. I haven't seen the colored version.
That's colored. That's the color version of. Oh, sorry. That's the color version of my character that I joke as my.
You should do a running gag where every once in a while, Augie walks around with toilet paper stuck to his shoe, and him not knowing it. It's just one of those things, right?
Yeah, he this is his partner, Brie Cakes, because you got to have a sexy chick. Since I have a big, fat, disgusting slob, I balance it out by having super sexy blonde girl. And they are a great team because she plays good cop, he plays bad cop. People would rather talk to him. And Augie always has a bottle of booze with him. So Brie can't stand him. She's like, my partner's a drunk. You know, he always had booze on his breath. He's like Harvey Bullock, but more disgusting. so I had to have. You got to balance it out, you know. And it's funny when I described Brie to Luke, who drew her. I said she's a sexy blonde. I got to sell this comic. Let's see. I see. So what's this logic? RJ, a conversation doesn't keep raising the level of thinking as we go on. I get that burn in the back of my head, in the front of my head, stagnant, simple conversations. Logic is smarter than me. I only drag him down. Odin, John, will your Odin book debut on a Wednesday? That's kind of funny. Maybe I'll launch it on a Wednesday. I can't control the day of the week that it comes. You know what I mean? Because there's all these different factors that get thrown in the mail. But I can. Ideally, if all goes on schedule, I'd like to have it next Christmas. But I didn't launch it yet, so you know, I'll see. I recognize aspects of myself in all my characters. Yeah, it's only natural. Orion is a self-insert as my time as a Delta Force operator in the space. Yeah, RJ, people don't realize that, but RJ from Earth 3, he's a veteran of the Mars-Jupiter wars. Tumbleweed is saying, nice. I also have blonde hair back then. He's got a lot of moxie in the character about his features. Oh, Augie. Yeah, at least he wears a suit. It's crumbled and not ironed. But you know, RJ knows all about that character. And RJ, thank you for saying you like that character. You think that's your favorite. That's cool because I love that character. Thank you, Logic. I know we bust chops. Yes, Brie Cakes has good genes. It's good energy. Uh, 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 I'm gonna spoil something else. Oh, crap, I can't. Oh yes, I already showed this, but Ron Mosicki is working on this character. This is Curtains. Can I shrink it down? No, that seems to be the only size that I can. But that is Curtains, and it's funny because when I described him to Ron, I go, he looks like an adult version of Oscar from the Brady Bunch. So that's Curtains. And what is Curtains? He's the worst, most despicable thing I could think of. He's a theater critic. I can't wait for you guys. This is the best thing I ever wrote. But then again, it was the most recent. Do you feel you're getting better with every story?
I'm getting more original, that's for sure. But we'll see if better. The price, how much I get to sell, is tell me better or not.
Right. I because issue 2 of Heroic Tales, I mean, Mary Sue's story is light years above issue 1, but I only sold 2/3 of issue 1, but I know it's better.
Well, I know that my construction of the second book is better than the first, just because my first I put in too many word balloons and things were crossing over and things like that. So I have better construction. Whether or not the story is better, that's up to the people reading the story.
Yeah, and Mike Barron, he read issue 1 and he read issue 2, and he said issue 2 was so much better. He said that the construction of the Mary Sue story, because the Patriarch story is chronologically told. It's not a complicated story. It's just told like a superhero story. Villain attacks, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? But the Mary Sue story is told in flashback as she's dying. Curtains looks like the real life Nero meets the Riddler. Good description. Good description. He has a punchable face, but also been perfect. He's supposed to be punchable. He's the most punchable. Like, as Ron's drawing him, Ron's saying, "I hate this guy." it's so much fun coming up with villains. Now, Curtains. I was watching I forget what I was watching, but it was like an old black and white movie, and somebody said, "It's curtains for you." You remember they used to say that?
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's curtains for you. It's curtains for you." And I'm like, that's a good name. So originally Curtains was going to be an assassin. Like the mob hires Curtains to take you out. And then I was just like, what if it had something to do with the theater? And then I wanted to make like a spirit type story. So I wrote a short story. It's all character driven. It's all, the plot is minimal. I got no problems admitting that. It's character driven. And it's an homage to Will Eisner's The Spirit, and I'm dying to spoil it. But you'll see. You'll see.
Makes me think of back in the day when I had to watch Siskel and Ebert in order to see what movies are coming out, because I hated Siskel and Ebert. It's like, for you guys, it just drive me insane. But it's the only way I can see trailers for new movies coming out.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. I used to watch Siskel and Ebert, and if they hated the movie, I knew I was going to like it. And RJ, you'll appreciate this. Whenever I was going to the movies, my mom would be like, "Not so fast," and she would get the Long Island Catholic, which was the Long Island diocese. The Long Island Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church had a newspaper called the Long Island Catholic, and they would have a review of every movie, but based on whether or not we as Catholics should see it. So, nope, you're not seeing that movie. It's condemned by the Long Island Catholics. Okay, I'm not going to see it, Mom. We'll see something else. Let's go see that movie now. You better not go see that movie. It's condemned. Mike Barron knows how to hold a reader's interest by keeping you engaged in the character as they move through the world. Yep, Mike Barron's a legend. Mike Barron's a legend. I can't believe that I have Mike Barron's phone number on my phone. And he called me a few times to give me advice. How does that happen? How does that happen? You know, uh, are you going
Crazy
to do
things,
a show
John.
on your channel?
What's that?
Are you going to go to your channel because it's 9:30?
Oh yeah. I have it set for 9:30, 9:35, 9:40. I'm not sure. Or yeah. So anybody wants to raid over to my channel? We're just having a random live stream talking comics. If you want to come over, John, I'll just send you. I know I'll send you
Yeah.
the link. But if
Well, last time I was just so tired. I'll come over for a couple of minutes, and if you don't mind, I will eat my cannoli donut while we talk. Unless you think that's gross.
no problem. All right, I'll say goodbye to everybody here, and I'll go set up then.
Oh, while RJ's setting up, I'll answer. Do I celebrate Halloween? My wife and I love Halloween. We absolutely love Halloween to the point. When we lived in our 1-bedroom apartment in Queens, we were so upset because it was a walk up and nobody would come to our door. Nobody was going to walk up to our door. So we never, for 15 years, we lived in that apartment. Nobody ever came to our door for Halloween. Now we live out in the suburbs, and I dress up as Odin every year for Halloween. I like to dress up as Odin. And my first year, I didn't dress up because I'm the new guy from the neighborhood. I didn't want to dress up for Halloween and be the new creepy guy. So I didn't dress up, and 1,000,000 people came to the door. 1,000,000 people. So the second year, I dressed up, and I had nobody came to the door. Nobody came to the door. The third year, it was okay. So we'll see. We'll see this year. We'll see this year if we get people that come to the door. We need a couple of crows behind me. Ravens. Odin has ravens. You call a raven a crow, that's like an ethnic slur. Siskel and Ebert taught me that U.S. film critics hate U.S. films. I gotta agree. They only like foreign films. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna close this down, and I'm gonna go over to RJ on the Fourth Age. So if you go into YouTube, type in the Fourth Age, you'll see me and RJ continuing our discussion over there. Thanks a lot, everybody, and bye-bye.